Ja sam Nikola Jokic i sam borac sam na 95.
Growing up in Serbia, I fell in love with basketball.
I've been rolling a ball since I was 3 years old. I had no doubt I could play with the Americans.
Since I was a little kid, I was always dribbling the ball. It was just who I am.
My dad was very strict on me. He was my biggest critic, but also my biggest fan. Really helped mold me into the player I am today to be able to bounce back.
With the 41st pick in the 2014 NBA Draft, the Denver Nuggets select Nikola Jokic from Sombor, Serbia.
With the 7th pick in the 2016 NBA Draft, the Denver Nuggets select Jamal Murray. With the 14th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Denver Nuggets select Michael Porter Jr.
Jokic has it. Jokic against Lillard. Long three-pointers up. Misses. Rebound, Turner. Turner's going to dribble it out. And that'll do. The Portland Trailblazers are going to the conference finals for the first time since 2000.
And they are young. They have players like this that missed all of last season. Michael Porter Jr. can be just as dynamic as we're expecting Zion Williams to be. That's the potential this kid has.
He'll take a three. LeBron James will hit a three. Wow. Oh, how about it? LeBron James. And in 5 games, the Los Angeles Lakers will take down the Denver Nuggets, and the Lakers are headed back to the NBA Finals.
The Orlando Magic fire sale continues. They're reportedly sending Aaron Gordon to the Nuggets in exchange for Gary Harris, R.J. Hampton, and a first-round pick. Denver's sitting 5th in the West right now, and they are getting the athletic and still only 25-year-old Aaron Gordon.
But we begin today. Some very unfortunate news. Jamal Murray, it is a torn ACL in his left knee. We were all fearful that was going to be the diagnosis, and in fact, he will be out for the rest of the regular season.
I have some important news. That is that it's my honor to announce that Nikola Jokic is this year's Kia Most Valuable Player. Congratulations, Nikola.
That's it. Rebound. This will do it.
Suns have swept the Denver Nuggets. The Suns are going to the conference finals.
We've got breaking news out of the NBA on this Monday morning. Michael Porter Jr. will undergo surgery on his lower back. That's coming from his agent, Mark Bartelstein. The Athletic adding that he's expected to miss the remainder of the season.
I understand you may have some breaking news about a Western Conference head coach. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, I'm told Michael Malone in Denver has agreed to a multi-year contract extension. He had another year left on his deal next year. They'll add on to that. And now this is 7 years in Denver. He's a 3rd all-time winningest coach there. And you see the continuity they've had in Denver from Josh Kroenke, Tim Connolly in ownership, to Mike Malone, and building this organization around Nikola Jokic, player development. And now a window, you look at this season, 6th in the West. They have not yet had a game where they've had Jokic, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. playing together. Still some hope they can get 1 or 2 of those players back. This is a team with a championship window over the next couple of years when they get their group back. Now they've got Michael Malone locked in. And you look at, in this day and age of coaches, it's coming and going. This is a coach now who has a chance to be in one place for a decade.
On the drive that time, it's Morris and the Golden State Warriors starting to get that old championship look in their eyes as they dispatch of Jokic and the Nuggets and win it 102-98.
All right, let's go by the numbers on Jokic winning this award, starting with 15. Jokic became the 15th player in NBA history to win MVP multiple times and the 13th to win in back-to-back seasons. And he also created his own club, becoming the first player in NBA history to record 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, 500 assists in a single season. Jokic led the Nuggets in every statistical category.
Last time we saw Christian Braun, he was helping Kansas win the national championship, a double-double against North Carolina, 12 points, 12 rebounds in the national championship game. And he has parlayed that into a first-round selection. He's going 21st overall to the Denver Nuggets to play alongside the 2-time NBA MVP in Nikola Jokic.
From my understanding, there's already been some league movement here. We've had a trade. Talk to me about the Nuggets and the Wizards.
Yeah, Denver and Washington are finalizing a deal. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Ish Smith to Denver, and then Monte Morris and Will Barton to Washington.
Murray for three. Yes! Timeout, OKC.
Started with good defense, get the rebound, kick it out, get down the break, and everybody on the pitch up to greet Jamal in his first basket in 539 days.
The Denver Nuggets will finish with the best record in the West.
Ooh.
Why now? The Denver Nuggets will finish with the best record in the West. No way.
Clean look. Here comes Aaron Gordon the other way. Gordon! Oh my goodness!
A long road of a recovery for yourself. You've been getting better each month. How are you feeling?
I feel good. I just keep looking back to my first game and just continue to trend up, get better every week, every month, and that's all I can really do, stay the course and believe in myself. That's it.
Jamal, you've been a part of some pretty good Denver Nuggets teams over the years, but with this squad in particular, and being a #1 seed as of right now, what is this team ultimately capable of doing?
Winning a championship. That's our goal. Go to the finals and do what we do down there. We got a long way to go. It's not going to be an easy road, but games like this that test us are going to set us up for later.
Looking for Edwards. Finally gets it to him. Edwards launches. No! And Denver survives. And they have punched their ticket to the Western semis.
The Phoenix Suns season is over. The Denver Nuggets are moving on to the conference finals for the second time in 4 years. They'll get a little time off before facing either the Lakers or the Warriors.
What a blasting of Phoenix last night. 17-0 run in the first quarter. Blows the game wide open. Jokic utterly dominant. 32-10, 12 assists. Man, Kevin Durant was so impressed with Jokic after the game. Here's what he had to say.
I always knew how great he was. Always watching these guys, you know what I'm saying? All the great players in the league. Not surprised that these guys are good, especially somebody like Jokic. I've been watching him, playing against him for a minute now. No, I wasn't surprised at all. Jokic is an all-time great. I'm going to go down as one of the all-time great centers to ever touch a basketball. So,
Shot clock at 4. Jokic has to put it up. Falling away, puts it up. Bang! Jokic knocks it down. Reeves holding. James comes out of the pack. James on the drive, goes inside, stop, shot blocked, gets it back. It's over. It's over. Denver makes history. The Nuggets are going to the NBA Finals for the first time in franchise history.
The 2023 Irvin Magic Johnson Western Conference Finals Most Valuable Player Award goes to Nikola Jokic.
So on Monday night, the Nuggets accomplished two things they never had before, one of them much more important than the other. It was their first ever series sweep, which is nice. It's their first ever trip to the NBA Finals, which is obviously far more than that. Stephen A., how about the Nuggets?
Special team, special superstar Nikola Jokic. No doubt about that. When he seems to be doing nothing, he walks away with triple doubles.
The first finals game in franchise history is a rousing success. Denver's 9-0 at home in the playoffs. They take game 1. Denver does have a timeout, but they're not using it. 4 seconds. Murray, step back, three-pointer. Won't go. Fight for the rebound. Martin, and it's over. The Miami Heat have tied the NBA Finals. Murray back up. Jokic fakes, spins, the pirouette. And the bucket is good. 32 points, 20 rebounds, 10 assists.
What's the biggest reason the Nuggets just absolutely dominated last night?
Was since the Heat are they're great benefactors, they let people go get 41 and 11, so they decided last night to let two teammates go get 30-point triple-doubles. I didn't realize this. I knew it was the first time in playoff history, but it's the first time in the history of the NBA that two teammates had 30-point triple-doubles. That's crazy.
Comes Gordon. Gordon to Caldwell-Pope. Caldwell-Pope, three-pointer. Bang! Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. And Denver Nuggets are one win away from their first ever
NBA title. A spectacular performance on the road here in Game 4.
Here's the deal. Back-to-back wins on the road in the NBA Finals by double digits. There's so many things to break down. But Isaiah, what stood out most to you in this particular Game 4?
Denver's just better.
Three-point shooter. Lowry searching. Looking. Finds Strus back to Lowry. There it is, three-pointer. Won't go. Rebound, Caldwell Pope. They're not going to foul. The Heat will let it play out. It's over. At last, the long wait is over. After 47 years, the Denver Nuggets can finally call themselves NBA champions.
This year's Bill Russell Finals MVP goes to Nikola Jokic.
You know that I told that I don't want to stay on parade, but I fucking want to stay on parade. This is the best.
The Denver Nuggets made history last season, winning their first championship in NBA history. But that leaves the question, can they do it again? Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of NBA Now. It's your boy Dom, and we're going to get right into things here today. First off, I'd like to say I appreciate everybody that did watch through that super long intro. It was a pretty detailed explanation of how we got to where we are at this point. I feel like normally I don't go that over the top with the intros if you guys haven't seen. That was a little bit more, I think, in part because the Nuggets are my favorite team. So I will dial back the intros for the future episodes. But I was having fun making it, so I figured I'd leave it all in. I guess if you want to call it an intro, it's like 11 minutes long. But yeah, regardless, with all that said, we are going to jump right into things. And obviously, as a Denver Nuggets fan, we now have expectations for this team, right? This team won its first championship in NBA history last season, made the first finals in NBA history for the team. And it's not really been a recent trend for repeat champions. Ever since, the Warriors with Kevin Durant, it's been a lot of single championships. You can look at the Raptors, you can look at the Bucks, you can look at the Lakers and the Warriors as recent examples. As all of those teams did not repeat, and some of them, struggled to even make the playoffs the following season. Now, I don't think the Nuggets will have that exact issue of struggling to make the playoffs, but there is that expectation to be at that contender status, be making the finals, be in the conference finals, whatever it is. And I think that's fair to put on this team now. I think Jokic, by and large, is considered the best player in the NBA right now. And with the core four players still being here for the foreseeable future, that's only kind of compounded by that, right? Now, what is nice is, like I said, they are here for the future, and here for the future they are, with Jokic being locked up until 2026, 2027 with the player option the following year. Jamal Murray being locked up until 2024, 2025. Michael Porter Jr. being locked up until 2026, 2027. Aaron Gordon being locked up until 2024, 2025 with a player option the following year as well. So the core four is back. The core four will be here. The main cast is going to continue with this team for at least the next couple of years. Nobody being quite too old. By the end of their contracts, Gordon will be 30. Porter will be 28. Murray will be 27. And Jokic will be 32. So still guys that will be still able to compete at that point. And there's no real age concerns at this point. Other main guys that we brought back beyond that, KCP will be returning, Christian Braun will be returning. And that's really your main cast of guys that are coming back. There's some other guys that are coming back as well that we will get into here in a second, but they aren't necessarily your guaranteed contributors, I would say, towards a championship, right? But let's get into the departures real quick. So obviously the main guy that stands out is Bruce Brown. Everybody knows he got that 2-year $45 million contract with the Pacers. They do have a team option on that second year, so shout out to Bruce for getting his money. There's no way we could have paid him what he got there. In fact, we would have been looking at a little less than half per season of what he got there, just by using our mid-level exception on him. So it sucks that he's not back, but there's just no way that we would have been able to compete with that money that the Pacers were able to give him. Along with that, Jeff Green also departed, going to the Houston Rockets, also receiving a 1+1 deal with them, in which he will be making $8 million, and it has a team option to make $8 million the following season. Again, there's no way we could have matched that type of contract for Jeff Green. I think Jeff Green will be a bigger loss for us because although Bruce was the better player for us, I can see Christian Braun kind of developing closer into that role. And we also did draft another point guard who we'll see if he can kind of, take over some of that off the bench playmaking responsibility. And then we also have Reggie Jackson, who didn't get a ton of minutes last season that we'll get into here in a minute. But we brought him back with our mid-level and should be able to help with some of that ball handling. But Jeff Green, we don't really have a replacement for as that defensive forward that was able to come off the bench, play even center at times. We don't really have a replacement for him at this point. And so we'll talk into kind of how I believe that this team's going to go about trying to maximize, the players on the roster and minimize kind of the impact that these losses have. But I do think Jeff Green is by far our biggest loss of the offseason, just by the fact that we don't really have anybody that can fill that role. Beyond that, we also have Thomas Bryant, who left to go to the Heat, I believe. He didn't play much, so I'm not too worried about it. And then Ish Smith did leave as well, I believe, which is a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. He was okay for us, but nothing that we can't replace. Beyond that, though, when we go into the guys coming back that aren't like the core guys, so what we did was we brought back Peyton Watson, we brought back Zeke Naji, both still on their rookie deals. Vlatko Kankar got another deal, and I want to say Colin Gillespie got another deal as well. I think P. Watt showed a lot in Summer League. We'll get into some Summer League stats here in a minute, but I think he was a big standout for us in Summer League. His potential is very high. I mean, Paul George was just on a podcast not long ago talking about how good of a player he thinks he can be. And, when you're an NBA player, you can get all the respect you want from the media, but what really starts to define you is when you start getting peer respect. And so that's something that, should be of note. So P-Watt season coming up, he would be the big guy to be replacing what Jeff Green is leaving. So that's something to keep in mind. I think his minutes will go up, and he's really going to have an opportunity to show out for us. Zeke Naji, honestly, when we drafted him, I did not like Zeke Naji. I hated the pick of Zeke Naji when we drafted him, but he's grown on me ever since. Honestly, I don't think Michael Malone plays him as much as he should. I'm hoping he'll get a little bit more playing time, at least during the regular season this year, with really our only backup center being DeAndre Jordan. So hopefully he'll get some more playing time there. I honestly like him more at the 4, where he can kind of sit in the corner, stretch the floor a little bit, and such, be another big body out there on defense. But I could see him getting a little bit more run as our backup 4. Again, Jeff Green minutes are gone, so you've got to fill that with some of these young guys, and I think those two guys should be able to fill that fairly well. As it goes for the draft, though... Oh, sorry. Before we get to the draft, we also brought back Reggie Jackson, which I said, on our mid-level exception, 2 years, $5 million each. He has a player option for the second season. Again, I think he'll be good for us. He's a guy that he can get you 20 any night. And so that'll be very helpful with this team because, you're losing some defense. So hopefully you can have that offense to kind of supplement the bench. Should be a good ball handler off the bench and kind of be able to help run that bench unit. What I'd expect is a lot of, pick and roll stuff with him. If Jamal is off the court and he's on the court with Jokic or something like that, expect a lot of pick and roll with him and Jokic. Akeem kind of similar to almost not necessarily your pin down screens that you would have for JJ Redick and Joel Embiid, but something kind of like that where he's not a high tier player, but he will work very well in that screen and roll with Jokic, and he also can just go get his own shot. So he'll be a good bucket getter off the bench. Now let's dive into the draft. We brought in Strother, we brought in Pickett, and we brought in Tyson. We also re-signed DeAndre Jordan and brought in Justin Holiday off of free agency, who Holiday I think will be decent. Again, can kind of fill some of those minutes potentially that Jeff Green left behind, but he's a little bit smaller. So that's something to keep in mind. As for the rookies, when we look at what they did in Summer League, Strother was our highest pick out of Gonzaga. It was funny, when we made the pick, I wasn't as in tune with this draft as I usually like to be, but when we made the pick, I was like, oh, I know who that is. Where do I know him from? So obviously I hopped in my bag, did my research, and I remember actually watching the game where he hit that game winner over UCLA, because it was really back and forth towards the end of the game, and then he just came down court, hit it, cold-blooded. So I loved that pick once I figured out that that's who he was. Didn't have as good of a summer league as Hunter Tyson, though. As Hunter Tyson, in his 5 games, he averaged 20 points per game, 54% from the field, 50% from three. I mean, this kid was lighting it up from summer league. He was actually our second round pick. He was picked with the 7th pick in the second round. Not too far after our first second round pick in Jalen Pickett, who had the more disappointing summer league out of the bunch. He is an older guy though, so I'm not too worried about him coming in, as he's coming in at 24 years old, I believe. Let me see here. Jalen Pickett. I lost where he is. Yeah, he's coming in at 24 years old. So he should be a good veteran rookie. He's older than Zeke Najee. He's almost as old as Porter, so he should be able to fit in well. Hopefully he can be a good defensive guy and playmaker. And we'll just see what he develops into. But back to Hunter Tyson. I mean, he lit it up. He looks like one of Malone's guys, honestly. I can see him totally being a steal from this draft, especially as a three-point shooter. And especially off the bench. I mean, you can't have enough shooting in today's NBA, and the way that he was kind of able to just do whatever he wanted in Summer League. I want to say he made Summer League first team, so that was good to see. And he's coming in, how old is he coming in as? He's coming in as 23, so again, another older rookie who should hopefully be able to have a little bit more of an immediate impact. And then, yeah, so a good rookie bunch. Strother's stats for Summer League, again, in 5 games, averaged 18 on 40% from the field and 34% from three. So his shooting splits just didn't quite keep up. He started off a little bit slow, but was kind of able to pick up as we went on a little bit more. So that was good to see. And yeah, I mean, we'll see how he develops, but I think he's definitely the highest ceiling of the bunch, being by far the youngest player at 21, which is still an older rookie. He still played 3 years, or 2 or 3 years at Gonzaga. But yeah, I think that we have a good rookie bunch that'll be able to come in and make it some sort of at least regular season immediate impact. We'll see if any of them do what Braun did. I don't know if any of them can get to that level, but maybe they can get up there and contribute a little bit in the playoffs. Obviously, Braun had kind of a historic season as a playoff contributor for a rookie. Speaking of Braun, I want to talk about some second-year development for him. So obviously, he has won at every level. We know this. It's been kind of a story that's gotten a little bit overplayed at this point, but shouldn't necessarily be taken lightly. Just the amount that he's won, right? But obviously, our 21st pick last season, main contributor in our championship run off the bench, was huge defensively, came in, made timely shots, was able to get his own shot. What I really want to get to, though, is that creating his own shot. That's where I think he can really kind of fill in that Bruce Brown role, because what we saw was in the NBA Finals, not like throughout the regular season, no. In the NBA Finals, he was able to take over for like a 5-minute stretch in the middle of a game and kind of just be better than the whole other team on his own. Defensively, offensively, he was doing everything. Now, I don't think he'll be a superstar or anything, but damn, did he show out. Last season, he only averaged 4 points. He shot 49% from the field and 35% from three. That's different, though, when we jump to his playoff numbers. Again, only 3 points, but what I really want to look at is he had half a steal a game. He shot 53% from the field and 20% from three. What I need him to do is fix his free throws, because his free throw percentage is terrible. He shot 57% last year, and it's something that needs to be fixed. So hopefully he can get in the lab and really focus on that. Beyond that, though, again, I think he plays the passing lane super well. He'll continue to be a defensive contributor. I'd like to see a little bit more scoring from him, which he was able to show a little bit in the finals. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for year 2 Christian Braun. I don't expect him to be in any most improved player conversation, but I do expect him to be in some all defensive team conversations along with Aaron Gordon, who, if Aaron Gordon is not an all defensive first team selection this year, I'm going to riot. Because when you look at the run, I know playoffs don't account for this, but when you look at the run that he had this last season, going from Anthony Edwards to Devin Booker and Kevin Durant to LeBron James and Anthony Davis to Jimmy Butler, like, this man was guarding some of the best players and locking them down and getting us through the playoffs. And so Aaron Gordon better be an all-defensive player this year. That's all I have to say. Beyond that, though, yeah, I think this team has a very good chance to repeat. If I had to put my money on it, I would say no, because it's just always better to pick the field over one individual team. But as a biased Nuggets fan, yeah, Nuggets are back and we're here to stay. With that said, I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you guys drop a like and subscribe for more. And yeah, I will catch you all next time. Peace out, guys.
You got a parade coming up here on Thursday.
Yes.
How soon till you're back in sophomore?
I need to, Sundays I have my horse racing in my
horse racing. I was going to get to that. The horse racing.
Get to that. Maybe I don't know how we're going to arrive. Thursday parade, Friday maybe.
Would you make it?
I don't know.
Maybe you can have enough time to squeeze it in.
I'm going to ask Josh to give me a plane.